I don't think Gunner scares Georgia or Tennessee fans like Carson Beck did. And I don't think Georgia is as strong, especially in the running game. I don't think the drop off from Todd Monken to Mike Bobo, I think changes some calculus there. And I don't know. I do think the deep shots that Joey Aguilar has hit thus far, I mean, he's the third highest graded PFF quarterback through 2 weeks. Like, Aguilar has played really well. So, older quarterback, played really well. Tennessee's lost one home game in 3 years. I understand the optimism. I'm still a little skeptical. But again, I mean, Tennessee played their best game against Georgia last year, and they still lost in the second half. But I mean, they played a really good first half. I was really happy with how Tennessee challenged Georgia in the first half last year on the road. Now, it didn't work out in the second half, but I do think they made strides. So I could see this being a 4. I mean, part of it's like, I just want a 4-quarter game. Like, we haven't had a 4-quarter game in Neyland Stadium yet in the Heupel versus Kirby era. So can I get 4 quarters of close football? Can we do that?
Yeah, you probably got to go back to the Butch Jones era before when last time they played 4 quarters in Neyland, right?
Yeah.
Georgia's sitting at 8 straight wins in this rivalry, 4 straight, like you said, in Knoxville. And the last 4, because Heupel has this reputation as being such an offensive guy, that's why the games against Georgia stand out so much. Because, I mean, what did this team come in averaging 50 a game or something in 2022? What are they averaging, like 60 right now or something?
They're in the top 4 in scoring. I think USC, Oregon, and Texas Tech are the only 3 ahead of them. But you know what's funny is Tennessee actually scored. So in their first 2 games against an ACC and FCS school last year, they scored 120 points. And this year against an ACC and FCS school, they actually scored 117. So they're actually 3 down.
I will say I'm proud of you, Chase Thomas. You've come a long way. I think last year after averaging they put up 70. Did they put up 70 twice against like Chattanooga? And then
they put up 70 against Chattanooga. They set a program record on Saturday. They dropped 72.
Okay. Who was it? The one, oh man.
Kent State.
Kent State. They dropped like 50 at halftime, right?
Yes.
I feel like you've gotten really excited about the big point totals against the inferior teams in the past. So I have to applaud you for being like, hold on, let's pump the brakes. This sort of thing did happen last year, and we still only scored 17 versus Georgia. It just feels so much different from a Georgia perspective. Like every team was just so well seasoned since Heupel has been there, at least since this has been a November game. Like the 2023 game when Dylan Sampson opens the game up with a 75-yard touchdown run, very first play.
Jalen Wright.
It was Jalen Wright.
Yeah.
My apologies. And like that place was just going nuts and everything. And essentially Georgia didn't give up anything for like the next 57 minutes of the game. Like they just, you know, there was just so much experience. You had so much leadership on those teams. If Georgia were to give up a 75-yard touchdown run on the first play of this game, it feels like with the inexperience on this current team, like I don't trust that they would just be able to just rally and just bounce back the way they have in other years. Like, and we're talking about 2024 as well. Almost went down 14-0. Like if Brett Thorson doesn't make that tackle, but were they down? Actually, they may have gone down. Like, were they down 17-0 or were they down 17-10?
10, yeah.
10-0. And then it was tied by halftime. And then Georgia put it away in the second half. You've seen a lot of games where Tennessee has a really good offense and this Georgia defense is able to stifle them. Since Heupel has been there, if the offense right now is what worries me the most on Georgia's side. And so I don't know that it takes a Heisman caliber game from Joey Aguilar to win this game. It might only take 20 points.
I don't know. If you go through Georgia's history here, Georgia scores a lot of points in the series. Yeah, I have a hard time believing Tennessee's going to be able to beat Georgia scoring 24 points.
It's just like, even with all the question marks that you have around Georgia, like that are certainly valid at this point, it's just hard to picture anybody winning a rock fight with Georgia.
Yeah.
Tennessee's going to have to get closer to 30, I think, to win this game, which they definitely can do. I mean, my God, they just had 72. But, yeah, I would be – I mean, the thing that I'm most concerned about for Georgia is, like, when you have a quarterback that is, in all likelihood, probably struggling with his confidence right now, and the results on the field are that he's not pushing it down the field, and he's getting soft coverages and just not wanting to do anything. He's defaulting to his checkdowns. Like, if he has a bad play, 2 bad plays, maybe a turnover worthy play here, or something goes wrong and that place just starts rocking Neyland, like, I really don't. Yeah, like you said, Matt, I just don't know if this is a Georgia team that's going to climb out of the same holes that it's dug for itself in years past. Because if Stockton is already this, paranoid about pressure and not wanting to push it down the field, like, what's it going to be like if he's down 10 points and the stadium's got 100,000 people calling for his head? I worry about that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And you look at some of the early SEC road games Georgia's played the last couple years, whether who was it last year? Kentucky was the first road game, and that was just probably Georgia's worst performance of the entire season. The Ole Miss one was pretty bad too, so I'm not sure. We're splitting
Kentucky
hairs
was
there.
worse, dude. Kentucky, I don't think they won a single play on the line in Kentucky.
Kentucky was worse because Kentucky was worse. But yeah, but then 2023, that's the Auburn game, right? With Brock Bowers took it over late in the game.
Put the tape on, man.
And even the first game at home in 2023 was South Carolina, and that was South Carolina 14-0 at home or at the half, or 10-0
They were down 14-3 at half because the same thing happened, because the offense wasn't clicking early and Beck got nervous and was afraid to take shots, and then it leads to them being down 11 at half. And that was a bad South Carolina team that they were playing at home. This is a top 15 Tennessee team on the road that's hosting game day and hasn't beaten you in 8 years and really wants to beat you. Like, you can really see where, like, I'm not quite, like, on the side of, like, oh, Tennessee's, like, this is going to be their game. They're going to come out there and beat Georgia. But I really do feel way more reasons to be worried as a Georgia fan for this one than I did last year. And last year they were getting a lot of hype.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think there's a lot. I think there's reason for Georgia fans to be nervous. And there also feels like all the pressure is on Georgia. Maybe that's just being Georgia fans. They're the higher ranked team and all that. But it feels like when it comes to Tennessee, like obviously this is an important game to them, but the expectation isn't necessarily on Tennessee to win. I don't know. Maybe that's splitting hairs, but it feels like more pressure is on Georgia.
Because Joey's a legend forever if he wins this game, but if they lose, I don't think anyone's going to point at Joey and say that guy sucks. Whereas Hooker, that was Hooker's game to win, I feel like the pressure on Aguilar going into this game is not what it was on Hooker entering 2022. That's because they're not number one in the country. I know it's like a lot of that, but has to do with that, but still. Like, Aguilar can play pretty free in my eyes. I feel like he should come out there looking loose because you've got nothing to lose against Georgia, man. Like, go out there and let it rip is what I would say.
I just feel like it comes down. I shouldn't say it comes down. I think the thing that I am most curious about, the Ole Miss had a blueprint in Walter Nolan, Princely, Imanora, and all that. Like, they just overwhelmed Georgia's offensive line last year. And I don't think Georgia's fixed their offensive line issues from a year ago. But Tennessee did not adapt, and Tennessee they were so stubborn about only sending 4, and then Carson Beck was not put on the ground once in his 40 dropbacks. Gunner, you want to get in his head early. So I just feel like Tennessee is going to blitz early in this game. They're going to send Arion Carter, send Boo Carter off the edge, send Jordan Ross in the Rabbits package. They're going to be way more aggressive than what Georgia's offense has been accustomed to from Tennessee, I think, the last couple of years. I think they've learned from what happened last year and seeing, hey, we're going to push around. And if Juan Gasson's a true freshman coming in here, we're going to see where he's at. We're going to see what Josh Jackson's able to do. We're going to see Bo Hewley. We're going to see Ernest Green. Can he handle it? Like, I just think that right side of Georgia's offensive line is very fascinating to me because I feel like Tennessee has the potential to whip them. And if they can, that is a huge, huge problem for Georgia and Gunner, who's trying to get settled, trying to try stuff down the field. If it's a turnstile on that side and Tennessee's winning on that front and they are getting home and Edwin Spillman just crushes Gunner Stockton early and he's like seeing ghosts and like getting in his head, I mean, I don't know. I think that could flip the game. So for me, I am very curious how Georgia's offensive line, because what have they've thrown out 10 different offensive linemen to start the year?
It's been a ton of different.
Yeah.
So how do they handle the Tennessee Waves? Like, how do they handle Jordan Ross, Joshua Josephs, and company? Because if they're coming, and if Tennessee's more aggressive there, and they win in a way they were not able to win in their front four last year, I think that changes the game in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Josephs and Eason. Sorry, you go ahead. I was just saying, like, Josephs and Eason are going to make it really tough on them to establish the run. And if you can't,
Jackson Moy should be ready to go in the interior. Nathan Robinson's popping. I would love David Hobbs in this game. He won't be available, but I think Tennessee, they're going to rotate 12-ish guys on the defensive line, and they're going to, I think, be way more aggressive at their linebacker blitzes than they have in years past. That's just a hunch.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why this Georgia team is so hard to read. I mean, granted, they also had 2 cupcakes to open the season, so this is essentially the first game. We don't even really know what this team is, but it's also, we're coming off a year in 2024 where they won the damn conference and no one knew how good they were still. So it's like, it was such a weird season. Like you said, like, excuse me, the offensive line was an issue a year ago, but all of a sudden the defense was the issue a year ago. But all of a sudden, when they played the actual teams that made the college football playoff, they played their best. Like, it was really weird when it came to Texas and Tennessee. So, like, just like, I feel like all of the signs kind of point to Tennessee winning this game, but it feels like just the Georgia-Tennessee dynamic is the only reason people are, like, still trusting Georgia, myself probably included, because this team has won 8 years in a row. And we saw what happened last year when this was the real deal Tennessee defense, right? And they had the 5-star quarterback, and it's like, it still didn't make a difference. So maybe that 5-star quarterback wasn't as good, but it's like, there's still like a vibes thing that it feels like Georgia, from a fan perspective, like Georgia owns Tennessee, but that someone owns someone until they don't, right? It's like, it just, at some point, like, none of those previous 8 games actually affect this one until the final score happens, and you're like, oh, see, we own them 9 straight or whatever it is, So none of those games are going to matter, but it feels like, from a fan perspective, that's why I feel like the public is still not all in on Tennessee. Whereas I feel like, just from what we've seen on the field in the first 2 weeks, it's hard to be too confident if you're a Georgia fan.
Bad job by you. This is absolute nonsense. You're just throwing this out ahead of the week. You're just trying to flip the narrative, like the underdog dogs. Like, this bit by you to
doubting us.
Yeah, like the 7-5 nonsense
man.
that's coming out of Matt Green right now. He's just setting the stage for what will be what a gutsy effort from the dogs, the favored dogs.
Because the ESPN, like, FPI right now has, like, Tennessee has like a 53% chance to win. So
yeah,
that's been going viral on Georgia Twitter. It's like, look, everyone says we're gonna lose. Like, they're
doubting us. 53% is everyone.
You have to psych yourself out, man. You have to gaslight yourself into thinking that everyone hates you and thinks you're going to lose. That's the only way that you can.
I mean, everyone does hate Georgia. I mean, with good reason. But I will say, and like, America's team will be playing in orange and white on Saturday. But I do look at, I mean, it'd be sweet, man. Matt might skip the pod for weeks at a time. I don't know. I might never let him live that down if Tennessee wins in fun fashion. I'm starving for it. Like, I hate losing to Georgia every year. I hate that these games are not competitive in the second half. Like, it'd be nice. How many times can you get up and get hurt again? I don't know.
Yeah.
We have never done a podcast after a Tennessee victory over Georgia to this point. I don't know. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel.
Look at you. You're already setting the stage again, like a reverse jinx. Like, I don't know how I'm going to feel when I come. Like,
I mean, at some point that day is going to come. Maybe it's Saturday. Maybe it's 5 years from now. But
bad job by
Georgia
you.
can't just continue to beat Tennessee every year.
Like, this is gross stuff from you, Matt. Like, just like, this is oof. But I don't know how you put up with it. Like, this is.
I feel like I'm usually the sunshine pumper. Or I'd probably be accused of being the sunshine pumper.
For who?
But, what's that?
Sunshine pumper for who?
For Georgia, like being too positive or whatever. I would probably get that a criticism.
I was going to say, no Vol fans who watch I have ever equated you as the sunshine pumper for Vol Nation. I don't think.
Oh, no, not for Tennessee. No, I need to take Tennessee down a peg or two when I'm on that show. But
everything school HQ.
Yeah, something like that. Pretty good at everything school over there. I don't know. I think it's interesting to me because I look at this team and I told you all off season well, I guess from the moment the last season ended, not all off season, because my opinion changed a little bit around May or so whenever Nico transferred. But this was always going to be my number one most difficult game on Georgia's schedule because of how the uncertainty around Gunner and everything, and the fact that it was the first real game of the season. You just don't know what this team is made of. And Tennessee's probably top 10, maybe top 5 if Nico is playing like preseason wise. So the Nico stuff kind of, and I wasn't always the highest guy on Nico anyway, but that's what always kind of, that kind of changed my perspective a little bit. But all my other feelings are still there that I don't know how good this team is. And going into Knoxville, Neyland Stadium, not knowing college game day and everything, and you not really knowing how good your team is, isn't exactly a recipe for success.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not, man. I really think we're going to learn whether or not Gunnar Stockton is, like, I hate to just use this word and oversimplify, but I think we will learn whether or not he is good after Saturday. We will have a very good idea of who he is, man. Even more than we did after the Sugar Bowl.
We will learn how much Georgia fans care about driving a Lambo versus driving a 1980s truck.
Apparently, it matters like so much to them.
Yeah. But the last thing I'll ask you, Chase Thomas, before we let you go here, how many points do you think you will feel confident with? Like if you get a crystal ball and you learn Tennessee scored 28 points, 20 points, 30 points, whatever the number is, what's the number that if you find out Tennessee scored that, you feel good about the result on Saturday?
I'd say at least 34.
Wow.
Okay.
We saw this Georgia offense struggle to score 30 last year. I'm not sure how many SEC games they're scoring 30 in this year.